Good morning, and thanks so much for checking in with us here at Atlanta News First Plus on your Sunday morning. I'm Megan Packer, here to get you caught up with what's making headlines this morning. Lots of breaking news overnight, internationally, and of course, local stories that we're following here at home. And we will get you caught up with your first alert weather forecast in just a moment with our meteorologist, Isaac Williams, tracking some very hot temperatures. But let's get right to it right now. We heard from U.S. military leaders this morning, the very latest about the U.S. strike on Iranian nuclear facilities that happened last night. So here's what we know at this point. Three different sites were struck. The U.S. dropped bunker buster bombs on three Iranian nuclear facilities, and leaders call it a successful operation. All three sites that were hit are in the central western region of Iran, and we have some satellite imagery here of what one of those locations looked like before the strikes. Iran says the strikes did not cause any nuclear contamination. The White House also shared photos of President Trump in the Situation Room during the strikes last night. He addressed the nation afterwards, and he said that, again, it was a successful operation, that Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities are obliterated. Iran's top diplomat warns that it reserves all options to retaliate for the strikes. This morning at 8 o'clock, we heard from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Air Force General Dan Kane, and we learned that this highly classified mission was called Operation Midnight Hammer. They say that it was a success and that the U.S. military members really got in and out undetected, and they praised the people that were part of this successful mission for Operation Midnight Hammer. Now, Hegseth said that Iran would be smart to heed the president's words after President Trump said that any retaliation by Iran against the U.S. will be met with force far greater than what we witnessed last night. Hegseth also said that the U.S. does not seek war, but will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, and our interests are threatened. So a lot more to come today, especially as we hear reaction from Georgia leaders. Georgia politicians have been sharing their comments, their reaction with us. So we've got full coverage on AtlantaNewsFirst.com right now and on our free news app. No doubt there will be reaction, there will be fallout, and we will follow it every step of the way for you. As for other headlines from here at home, it was a busy night for Atlanta police overnight. They investigated several shootings. We've got video from one of those scenes here. Our crew was on the scene in Atlanta here around 1:20 a.m., where police found a person shot at a Northwest Atlanta apartment complex. This is Etheridge Drive near Hightower Road. We saw multiple police cars and a crime scene investigation van at that scene. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital and was stable. Detectives were still working to learn more about a suspect there at last check. And even more people are injured now after a second shooting in 2 days at the same DeKalb County shopping plaza. The most recent happened 3:30 yesterday afternoon, middle of the day on a Saturday at South Hairston Road near Redan Road. Police say several people jumped out of a car and started shooting at a restaurant. One person was hit. He was taken to the hospital with moderate injuries, and another person was injured by glass. She was taken to the hospital. Police say the suspects drove off, crashed, and ran into the woods. Now, the day before, Friday, 3 people were shot at that same shopping plaza. DeKalb County police say one man in his 40s and 2 men in their 20s were shot then, and one of them was in critical condition, one of the people in their 20s. A fight in Northwest Atlanta also is something that was investigated this weekend that ended with 2 children shot. So really just a very violent weekend so far that DeKalb County police are working here. Atlanta police are working their crime scenes. So lots to keep you updated on as we learn more about those investigations. If you are looking for something to do today on your Sunday, Atlanta Streets Alive is back, a really unique opportunity to get out and about on what would otherwise be a very busy Atlanta street. This is when the street is closed off to traffic. Peachtree Street from Midtown to downtown will be blocked off for you to walk around. So between 2 and 6, you can walk, bike, skate, or just wander through the heart of Atlanta. And this is all part of an international open streets movement that is happening around the world. world. Pretty cool. If you go out there, though, you just need to dress appropriately. The hat, the sunglasses, the sunscreen, the water for sure. It's another hot one out there, and we're getting closer to record high temperatures as we get further into the week. So let's bring in First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams right now. Isaac, this has just been a little taste of summer already on this first full weekend of summer, and it will just be getting hotter. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Megan. And yeah, we got to 92 yesterday for Saturday, and for today we're going with 93. So you can just see each day and each day into the week, we're going to see hotter afternoons on the way. So just as a reminder, if you are heading out and about, you can see here over Atlanta here, it is almost fully sunny. We've got just a little haze in the sky, but no clouds yet to shade us. So we're going to be heating up quickly. The UV index today, once again, in that very high to extreme category. I talked about this yesterday on this ANF Plus stream. The sun angle is higher than it's at its highest angle that it'll be in the year. And with that in mind, that burn time is going to be a little bit faster. Let me get my clicker so I can click forward here. For the rest of the day today, temperatures 87 at lunch, 93 at 3 o'clock. Notice the 20% chance of a shower, though we do expect, like yesterday, a couple of lucky few folks to get a very brief downpour or even shower, depending on the strength of the rain. But today is really not about the rain coverage like we've seen in recent weeks and months. It's about the heat. The heat index today still what I would call behaving. We're looking at numbers between about 95 and 97 today for the heat index. Obviously, in the blistering sun, you'll want to, again, keep that sun screen handy. And even into the evening, if you have dinner plans this evening, temperatures will still be well into the 80s for those temperatures. For the futurecast, for the rain coverage today, you can see very isolated, but not out of the question that we see a random shower or two. If you live over in East Alabama, you are going to see a little bit better chance of rain. But here in the metro, if we see something, it would be very lucky, very isolated. Again, the forecast kind of continues to paint on dry weather, getting you into Monday morning, back to work, back to whatever your routine calls for during the week. We've got a dry start Monday, and once again, a couple of showers possible. The rain coverage 10% or less probably on Monday. Again, we're continuing to look like we're going to have the better chance of rain hold off until sometime at the end of next week. And it's all due to this ridge of high pressure. You can see even into Tuesday, Futurecast really not showing much across north and central Georgia. Again, the rain coverage very, very isolated between today and next Tuesday. Just beyond Tuesday, we can see that ridge of high pressure continuing to show the heat watches and warnings well up to the north and west of us. But I do expect the possibility of a heat advisory here in Georgia on Wednesday, and we've gone ahead and issued that first alert weather day for Wednesday coming up for the middle of the week. It's going to be the hottest day no matter what. We have the high temperature, as you'll see in the Super 7 day here in a second, at 98 degrees. Some of our computer models are painting on low 100s. It's hard to do 100 degrees here in Georgia, but it's not out of the question that someone could see the triple-digit temperature. But right now we're forecasting 98 with the feels-like temperature of upwards of 105. So that's what's coming up on Wednesday and is the reason the first alert weather day was declared. Again, this is another way that we kind of measure the heat. It's just a heat stress product, basically, and this is used by the National Weather Service as well. And you can see we're kind of at the top of the scale here. So kind of incorporating everything, possible cloud coverage, temperature, humidity, anything like that, and rain coverage, which obviously Wednesday we're not expecting much still. So with that in mind, we're in kind of that extreme top of the line scale heat danger. And obviously we'll see this many times throughout the summer, but this is really kind of the first time that we've seen this level of heat danger since we've had so much rain and storm action. We hadn't gotten too hot so far in June, and back in May, sometimes we can have these really weird days in May where it gets super duper hot, even in early June, but we really haven't seen that so far. Keep that in mind, though, as you get into the middle of the week. that heat risk will be quite pronounced. And we could see this again on Thursday. We could see it as early as Tuesday as well. But really, I'm kind of honing in on Wednesday at the moment, where it's going to be at its worst across north and central Georgia. Even in the mountains, notice that heat risk is a bit more elevated than it is over the next few days. Here's the 7-day forecast. So notice, again, we're still keeping that trend of hotter days going through Wednesday. The change this morning I'm seeing in the computer model data is that for Thursday, it looks ever so slightly wetter. And so with that in mind, we might be saved from one of those extra heat danger days. We'll wait and see if the computer model's coming up here today when JD gets here this afternoon. And, of course, next week, early tomorrow and Tuesday, we could see that heat stress increase for Thursday. But it does look like Friday and Saturday, our computer models have been pretty consistent with sort of breaking down this ridge of high pressure that's giving us these increased heat potential over the next few days. But by Friday and Saturday, those numbers may be coming down into the low 90s, and rain coverage may go up to 30, maybe 40%. So with that in mind, we should not get as scorching hot is what we're kind of thinking here for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Will be saved, if you will, by some additional summer storms. And again, this looks very like a classic North Georgia late June forecast starting up Friday and Saturday, where highs, yes, low 90s, the feels like temperature around 100, and then we get some rain around here, and then that rain is going to be a little bit more widespread than what I'm thinking that we will see today, which is basically not much. So starting up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a bit more of your usual afternoon storm coverage across North Georgia. Wednesday, the first alert weather day. Keep in mind, again, the heat danger will certainly be at its highest there, but we could add days for Tuesday and Thursday as well if moisture comes back faster and we start to feel hotter on Tuesday. We could add that, and then Thursday, if that rain coverage holds off, we could have 3 days in a row. But still, I think that's the hottest stretch is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Again, with Wednesday at 98 degrees. Again, some summer storms coming in by Friday and Saturday. And, of course, you can get the very latest on the forecast always when we're not on air right here on ANF Plus, as you're watching now, as well as by downloading the First Alert weather app, where we will continue to keep you posted on these hot days coming up, and plus those updates coming for summer storms starting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF Plus. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.